everyone. You can keep playing. How is everyone tonight? So, every Christmas, we put together a show for you. Lots of songs and dancing and sometimes tap dancing even. This year, I decided to make it scared. And the reason why I say scared is because I told everyone it was going to be sacred and apparently spelled it scared. Yes. So welcome. I came in and Robbie said, "What is a scared service?" I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, you meant sacred." I meant sacred. So tonight, we're going to aim this in a sacred way. So I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath. I am going to take off my shoes. I know, right? They're very sacred. Yes, right? Yes, exactly. And we are going to start with a solstice sound bath. So I invite you all to take a deep breath. You can even close your eyes if you like. When we do our sound baths here, what I tell everyone is to give themselves the opportunity to just feel the vibrations, feel the energy, feel the music as it moves through your body. Tonight, as we celebrate Christmas Eve, we celebrate the anticipation of something being born inside of us. So I invite you to let go of the day and maybe the weeks and months and years you've had up to this point. Let go of anything you think you have to do when this is over and where you're going from here. And see if you can be fully present in your body and fully surrender to the sounds that you're about to hear. So you can look around, you can keep your eyes open, you can close them, whatever works for you. I also invite you to breathe. What I like to do, as opposed to not breathing, but I invite you to breathe in for 5, hold your breath for 5, and let go for 5. It's a way to slow your entire body down. It slows your blood pressure. It just takes everything to a state of pure stillness. So, enjoy. There's a metaphysical meaning to Christmas, where the manger represents the solid earth plane that enholds all energy. That the baby inside the manger represents each one of us and the capacity and the potential that is within each one of us. That the three wise men represent the intuitive knowing of the universe constantly filling the sky, the air, everything around us. That Joseph and Mary represent that father-mother energy that is at the heart and soul of each one of us. And on this night, this Christmas Eve, there is something in each one of us that is bubbling up. An understanding, a knowing, a wisdom. And the stars are shining. And the earth is spinning. The clouds are dancing. Celebrating that small, childlike wonder that is at the heart and soul of each of us.
The stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long live the world in sin and error till he appeared and his soul felt his worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night divine.
So on this night, when we celebrate that Christ consciousness that is at the center of each and every one of us, we get to decide for ourselves. We get to decide to know more. We get to decide to be kinder, to have a more compassionate heart. We get to decide to live our lives from that place of love only, from a place where we forgive everything. But most importantly, we get to decide to live in a place where we remember who we are. We are the Christ consciousness come to life and reborn.
A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night divine.
Nate Schinnerer. That was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. How do y'all feel? You feeling good? Yes? So welcome to our sacred Christmas Eve service. It's so funny, part of me is like wanting to like sing Jingle Bells and do all that fun stuff, and yet I know that when I picked stillness for this theme this month, it really was about how do I get the calmest I could get in the middle of the busiest life I've ever had. And that's what this is all about tonight. So please welcome Reverend Dr. Karen Oxrider.
Good evening, everyone. On this holy night, when the world feels a little quieter and our hearts are a little bit more open, we remember that love does not end with physical absence. Christmas has a way of softening the veil, of reminding us that those we have loved and lost remain close to us, woven into our memory, tradition, and spirit. I invite you to take a moment and close your eyes as I read a poem. This poem is a tender invitation to honor their presence, not in sorrow, but in gratitude, warmth, and remembrance. And as you listen to these words, may you feel a smile, a tear, or even laughter, or a familiar sense of closeness. All of this is welcome. Christmas to the Ones We've Lost by Ellie Worthington. When the day comes to an end and the light begins to fade, it's time to sit back and think of the memories we have made. With time quickly ticking by and the year is nearly done, I think of those not here with us to share in all the fun. I see their smiling faces in the flickering candlelight. I feel their hugs and kisses in the dreams I dream at night. So I'll set a place at the table and raise a glass of good cheer for Christmas past and present. We feel their presence near. Merry Christmas, my darlings. Dark days will sweep away. I'll think of you in springtime when snowdrops bob and sway. Memories that live in my mind dance across my eyes, never far from heart and soul in unbroken family ties. And in this moment, just a sweet remembrance of those we've loved and that are still with us in our heart and soul forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Karen. So that's a perfect setup for me to talk about why I'm wearing Santa around my neck. Now, most of you know the answer to that. Anybody not know why I'm wearing this Santa? Good, okay, so I'll let you know. So when Nora and Will were, I think, 6 years old, maybe 5 or 6, they somehow, on the day before Christmas Eve, had to go to the dentist. And was not their favorite thing to do. So Nora came back from the dentist and told me how she flew right through it. And then she, of course, gave Will up for crying and not really enjoying the dentist. And then she said, and the dentist gave me the most amazing present, and it was this. And she said, but I want this to be for you. This is my Christmas present to you. And so it was the day before Christmas Eve. You remember, right? Did I just call you out too much about crying for dentistry? Yeah. You don't cry anymore at the dentist, right? Okay, good. So I wore it. I threw it around my neck and wore it on that Christmas Eve, which was 20 years ago. And this goes into my jewelry box every Christmas when I'm done wearing it, and it comes back out every Christmas Eve, and I've worn it every year since. So Nora on Christmas Eve, she's such a big part of Christmas Eve services because, well, she played Eve Christmas, in our big Yo-Ho-Ho, A Pirate's Christmas. I wrote an entire Christmas musical for her, which she got to star in. And then she just sang so many songs at Christmas time for our services. So I get to wear this every Christmas and remind you all what this is about. So if there's someone in your life, as Karen just said, that you kind of wish were here today, or just a memory that you have, just know whoever that is, they are. I mean, that's the spiritual truth of what we know and what we believe. So, and here, to sing some more Christmas joy for us, please welcome mother and son, Mindy and Nate Schinnerer.
People making lists, buying special gifts, taking time to be kind to one and all. It's that time of year when good friends are near, and everywhere there's an air of Christmas joy. Why don't we give love on Christmas Day? And the man who has everything would be so happy if you would bring his love on Christmas Day. No greater gift is there than love. People you don't know, smiling not hello. Everywhere there's an air of Christmas joy. It's that once a year when the world's sincere, and you like to find a way to show the things that words can't say. Why don't you give love on Christmas Day? The man on the street and the couple upstairs all need to know there's someone who cares. Give love on Christmas Day. No greater gift is there than love. What the world needs is love. Yes, the world needs your love. Why don't you give love on Christmas Day? Every little child on Santa's knee has room for your love underneath his tree. Give love on Christmas Day. No greater gift is there than love. Yes, the world needs his love. Yes, the world needs his love. Why don't you give love on Christmas Day? Every Tom, Dick, and Harry, every Susie too needs love every bit as much as you. Give love on Christmas Day. No greater gift is there than love.
That was so beautiful. So now I get to give love on Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, because I get to bring up the Grinch that tried to steal Christmas, but apparently hasn't been able to for all of these years. But she's going to try again tonight. So please welcome our very own Grinch, Reverend Dr. Tiffany Mellon. It's all yours.
Dr. James called me and he said, when he asked me to speak this evening, he said, we want to make it a sacred Christmas. And I said, okay, but I'm going to show up in a Grinch onesie and I'm fresh off a Christmas Eve colonoscopy, so we'll see how that goes. All of that is true. So I have some notes because I'm still a little groggy. I didn't grow up in a religious household. We had Hanukkah and we had Christmas, but I really bought into the commercial side of both of those holidays and really none of the meaning behind it. So much so that as a kid, I convinced my parents that if I made a persuasive enough argument to Santa to have him be one of his first stops in California, then we could open our presents on Christmas Eve and my parents would get to sleep in on Christmas morning. And they agreed, and so we ended up celebrating Christmas on Christmas Eve. I'd love to say that that's a charming, cute story of a kid, but really I just wanted my presents early and I don't like surprises. And so this became sort of our Christmas tradition, which seems very non-traditional and non-very Christmas. And then we went on to create other traditions and to continue celebrating Christmas and Hanukkah in sort of this non-secular way. And this year I really, I'm gonna get emotional. My oldest is in his last year of being a kid. And I started to wonder, had I done enough to plant the seeds of tradition in them? Have I done enough to make this time sacred? And I started to realize that through that idea that my parents could sleep in on Christmas morning, Christmas Eve became a very sacred time. It's the time when my family comes together and celebrates and makes a dinner and opens presents, and there's joy and there's love and there's laughter and there's giving. And that's sacred. And then when my son came along, we started the tradition of wearing our pajamas to my mom's house, hence the onesie and the jammies that my boys are wearing. It really came out of something practical because I needed my son to go to bed as quickly as possible when we got home because Santa was coming. And so we started this tradition of wearing jammies to my mom's house on Christmas Eve. That has continued all these years. And then when Lexi came along, we started the tradition of, when I was a kid, I think I told the story last year about how I always felt sorry for the little, small, ugly Christmas trees on the Christmas tree lot that died in vain because nobody was ever going to take them home. And Lexi, when she was little, and we were at a Christmas tree lot, told me that she felt really sorry for those little Christmas trees that nobody was going to take home. And I thought, oh, you get me. And so that day, the tradition was born to go and find the ugliest, little, saddest Christmas tree that we can find on the lot. And not only do we bring it home, but we name it. And it is the most loved Christmas tree that could ever be in anybody's home. And also Elf on the Shelf, much to my husband's dismay. She also brought that into our lives as well. And so what I realized is that traditions are meant to evolve. They're meant to grow, that each of my children brought an extra little layer of special and sacred to our Christmas traditions. And I know that when they have children of their own, they'll bring their own sacred. Nora brought the sacred Santa around Dr. James's neck. And that, in and of itself, is special. And honestly, the most sacred aspect of all. So we don't do traditional Christmas. And much to Dr. James's dismay, I show up to Christmas Eve service in varying degrees of jammies, this year the Grinch onesie. And I see other people here that have started wearing their jammies to Christmas Eve service, again, to Dr. James's dismay. But in some small way, I get to bring my gift of special and my gift of sacred to this congregation. And for that, I'm very grateful. So Merry Christmas.
Okay, so now I'm going to have to say that next year I will wear a onesie. Anybody really want to see that? That was kind of a joke, but we'll see. We shall see. So I do have a Christmas tradition. I'd look great in a onesie, by the way. I'd work out the whole month of November and December for a tight onesie. I'm really thinking about that. I have a tradition, and I did it for years. For years and years and years, one of my traditions was that I would write a Christmas poem for Christmas, and everybody got the Christmas poem. It went out to all of our friends, right, Kev? And they'd always wait every year, and then one year I didn't write one, and I got phone calls going, where's the poem? Where's the Christmas poem? And I was like, I'm not writing one this year. Why? Have you dried up? You have no more ideas? I was like, no, I have a lot to do, and I'm not doing a Christmas poem. So I didn't do a Christmas poem. And then people stopped arguing for it. And then last Christmas, I wrote a Christmas poem, and I read it at service. And many of my friends that watch online, they were like, you need to mail that out. But I didn't feel it was done. I did it on Christmas Eve. And so this year, to stay with my tradition, I looked at that poem and rewrote it, based on a lot of the quantum understanding of life that I have come to know this particular year. And so, as Tiffany just said, everything's evolving, everything is moving. So here is my updated, rewritten Christmas poem. And Robbie, just give me some pretty Christmas poem music. But don't make it too intricate. I want them to focus on me. I came this year to understand that life is quite complex. I read, I think I understand. Then suddenly, I'm totally perplexed. I thought I knew what I thought I knew. Then, like a breeze, it all seems to go. For my life today, is so filled with change that it's hard for me to say, I know. And then I come to Christmas Eve, and memories flood my mind of families, friends, of Christmases past, and my heart begins to unwind. For sometimes thinking can clog the flow of love as it beautifully pushes through. But on this night, somehow, in some strange way, my thought always returns to you. You, who were born to an enormous burden, whose life was so misunderstood. You, who arrived with the softest of fare, like no other child ever could. And they've told story after story, some true, some false, and some in that murky between. But the story that matters is far beyond words of what was told, or even what was seen. For when I stop for a moment and listen within to what I intrinsically know, that story becomes mine and yours and ours. For the story began long ago, before the birth of a child, or a boy, or a man, or a life that played out on a cross. That story began with the spark of knowing that something we knew had been lost. For we came to this journey with an innocent thirst. As a child, we would reach for the sky. And the oceans and the sunsets, the mountains and forests, all whispered a beckoning sigh. You were born of the dreams of the infinite light, and that light will forever shine. For my child, which you are, you were born out of love, and as love, you will always be mine. And I heard, life is love, and this love that we are is a pulsating, powerful force. It can speak, it can hear, it can feel, it can fear, it can fly, yet at times veer off course. And that child in a haystack, did he know what would come? Did he question how hard it would be? Did he care? Did he worry? Or did he just know that in truth, there was but one thing to see? One moment, 1 second, one eternal flash of an infinite creative spark. And he knew, and he preached, and his message was love, and it left a smoldering, indelible mark. So tonight, as I stand here and wonder out loud why these words pop into my head, could it be that for years we've been carefully loved and directed and purposefully led? Could it be that each loss, each stumble, and each fall were all part of just being reborn? That the babe in the manger was no accidental stranger, but a gift for us all to adorn. So we light the menorah, the houses, the trees, and we sing and we dance and we share. We open presents, we feast on the food, and we laugh and we cry and we care. But thousands of years and way too much drama has left us this story of old about a child with a message of love and compassion and a heart that was vast and could hold each one of us here for now and for always, for it's always the here and the now. And perhaps life is complex, but we're still searching for that one thing that will somehow astound when that thing is right here the thing itself, deep inside, with that thunderous softness of sound. So I guess in the end, there's nothing to question, nothing to fret or to fight. It makes sense on this eve for all who have wakened. Merry Christmas to all, and to all, a good night. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And now, please welcome to the stage Reverend Dr. Thor Chalgren.
I have a confession, which is when I got the email that said, come up with a scared talk, I thought, this is perfect. I have exactly the right one. There's been a lot of talk about tradition today, this evening, and in my family, we had a tradition. And Swan, can you show that first slide? My question to you is, where does Christmas Eve find you? In my family, we would spend Christmas Eve putting up stockings. This is a stocking my mother made for herself. She was an artist of extraordinary ability. She created stockings for our whole family. Hers says Sally. This is the smaller of her stocking because she made them. She could make as many as she wanted, and so she had an even larger one than this. This was my dad's stocking. His name was Chick. This was in 1979 that she made this one. And then the second stocking that she made for me is this one, and it has a little tag that has my name on it. So on Christmas Eve, we would lay out our stockings, and my mother would prepare the most amazing meals. This was a tradition where she could make extraordinary dishes, and we would always have that on Christmas Eve. So when I think about where does Christmas Eve find you, that's the tradition in our house, was we always had Christmas Eve that way. Until we didn't. And there are moments in my life that stand out where, because my dad was in the military, we sort of had a non-traditional experience from year to year, where sometimes he was gone for a year, and so it looked different. I think about one Christmas Eve where we had been together as a family, and we went skiing that day in Colorado, and we had no place to go for Christmas dinner other than the only restaurant in town that was open, which was, of course, a Chinese restaurant. So I have this memory of being with my parents and my brother on Christmas Eve in a Chinese restaurant. And it didn't look like the experience that my mother, Sally, created, but it was the experience of being with my family that mattered. 2 years ago, our daughter, Sarah, who's here today, couldn't come home from New York for Christmas. So we did what any parents would do. We went there to bring the Christmas experience to her. And on Christmas Day, we actually went out to the restaurants that shockingly were open in New York City on Christmas Day, which were all Italian restaurants. So it was the three of us having an incredible dinner on Christmas Day. And it's funny, she'll say, really, you're going to tell that? The one memory that I had from growing up when I guess I was in my early 20s, I couldn't come home for Christmas. I think this was the first time in my life where I couldn't come home because I had a job where I couldn't get away. And I remember I worked at that job until midnight and then drove home. And it wasn't Chinese food. It wasn't Italian food that I picked up. It was food from 7-Eleven. That was my Christmas breakfast, was whatever I could buy at 7-Eleven on Christmas morning. And this was, of course, well before FaceTime or anything like that. Long-distance calls were probably very expensive back then, so I don't even know if I had a very long conversation with them on Christmas Day. That, for whatever reason, stands out because that was the one time that I wasn't with family. And so I was thinking about all these and thinking, oh, they're all tied together somehow by food. And then I realized, though, that's not quite true. I was listening to, as probably many of you, listening to Christmas carols this time of year, and there's a Christmas carol, and I'll have you advance a slide, but not yet, Swan. There's a Christmas carol that talks about this idea. It was written in 1943, became a huge hit for Bing Crosby, and if you were in the military during World War II, you would have heard this song because it talked about the longing that you had for being home because you couldn't be home. And the song was, "I'll Be Home for Christmas." I realized as I was thinking about that song, the song is not, "I'll be at the dinner table for Christmas." It's, "I'll be home." And the idea of home is one that you choose. It didn't have to be, it could have been anywhere. In our case, it was a Chinese restaurant. It was in Italy. It was an Italian restaurant. In my case, it was a small little apartment in Santa Monica. But that was home. So listening to the song, I want to play a short moment from this song because I feel it's so evocative. Swan, would you play that next slide?
Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas if only in my dream.
It may be a dream, but as the song said, it's where the love light gleams. I hope for you tomorrow that you find that place in your heart where that is your home, and whoever you are with, wherever you are, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Let's leave them up here, yes? Yeah, that was so beautiful. You made me cry through the whole thing. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Thor. Oh, goodness. So, I have a little gift for you, a little surprise. It's a little video for you to watch for a moment. Swan, if you could hit the lights up there.
Salut papa.
Joyeux Noël.
Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. You know, we've talked tonight a lot about traditions and, what we're all doing for Christmas. And I now have a 26-year-old son who someday will probably have his own 26-year-old son. And I'm just noticing how, as life continues to change, and there's so much change in my life right now, there are things that do not change. Thor and Sarah, that will never change. That little girl and that father, that will go through time and all eternity, and the mother too, of course, Aaron. But these relationships, who we are, Kyle and Corrine and Doug, that's a triumvirate there. And add Swan, who's up in the booth, to it. And that's something that will never change, because that bond, that familial bond, and it doesn't even have to be biological. It can be the chosen family of your life, who you choose to be that in touch with. And what I love about that video is that it has the moments where he's just as annoyed with his father as could be, right? And that's just something for us all to think about, as we're living these lives. Some of those annoyances aren't really so annoying when you look back on them. I mean, really, Will, they're not. Yes. So with that, just the other day, Will was at the house, and we were talking about the Christmas Eve service, and I said, don't you have a Christmas song that we've never heard before that you could possibly sing? And he laughed, and he said, I do, but you may not like the lyrics. And I said, well, it's a sacred, scared service, so, maybe an F-bomb might not be the appropriate time. And then he sat down at the piano and grabbed Nora's guitar and played me this song, and kind of just hit me in the heart. I said, cut that one verse, and but sing the rest of the song. So he has graciously agreed to do that tonight. So please welcome William Mellon. My mic is right here. Oh. I'm coming down, right? Go ahead and sit. We'll set this up. Talk amongst yourselves. Here, give it to me. I'm going to move this. You got to sit down. Hand me that. Okay.
We should have had a short cartoon for this period.
Okay. Is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's right at your guitar.
While we're
There you go.
finishing setting up, the one thing I can say about this song is, and I think we've hit this note a few times tonight, but Christmas can be an accessory to our joy and something, if we're already in a great place, that is just amazing and lovely, but it can also be a balm or like a bastion of hope. And nobody knows struggle like the Irish, so this is an Irish song about kind of finding some hope on Christmas, minus a verse. It was Christmas Eve, babe, in the drunk tank. An old man said to me, I won't see another one. And then he sang a song, the rare old Mountain Dew. I turned my face away and dreamed about you. Got on a lucky one, came in at 18-1. I've got a feeling this year's for me and you. So happy Christmas, I love you, baby. I can see a better time when all our dreams come true. They've got cars big as bars, they got rivers of gold. Where the wind blows right through you, it's no place for the old. Oh, old. When you first took my hand on a cold Christmas Eve,
Promised me Broadway was waiting for me. You were handsome and pretty, queen of New York City. When the band finished playing, they hauled out for more. Sinatra was swinging, all the drunks they were singing. We kissed in the corner, then danced through the floor. And the boys in the NYPD choir were singing Galway Bay. And the bells were ringing out for Christmas Day. I could have been someone, well, so could anyone. You took my dreams from me when I first found you. I kept them with me, babe. I put them with my own. I can't make it on my own. I've built my dreams all around you. And the boys in the NYPD choir still singing Galway Bay. And the bells were ringing out for Christmas Day.
You're good. You're good. Put that. Now, I didn't pick that song just because it had Broadway in it. Will, didn't you want to come up and redo my computer? Oh. Yeah.
Little tech support.
Oh, there it is. Okay, good. I could have done that. Clearly not. Okay. When I was 23, I was living in New York City. I was a young actor. I had not had a break yet. I'd gone from a tour to a tour, and the tours I did were closed. And I found myself in New York City, broke, with really not even enough money to take the train home to Philadelphia, but with 3 roommates so many of you know that story. 3 roommates in a 2-bedroom apartment in the Upper West Side, and both roommates flew home for Christmas, but I was left in New York City. And some friends came over, and we had a nice Christmas Eve, but a nice holiday season. But when Christmas Eve was arriving, I just couldn't fathom that I was not going to be in Philadelphia with my family. So I went all over the apartment just searching for nickels and dimes and all. I mean, it really was that. I was really that poor in that year, that Christmas. And then the neighbor across the hall came over and asked me what I was doing, and I said, I'm actually looking for nickels and dimes and quarters. I want to buy a ticket to Trenton, New Jersey, because my family will pick me up there. And she said, oh, how much is it? And I told her how much it was, and she gave me the money. So I ran down it, but first, I looked around my apartment, and I was like, I can't go empty-handed. I have to give presents. And I had a new godson. My older brother had his first child, and I was the godfather. And I was like, okay, I can get away with not giving gifts to all the adults, but I can't show up without a present for my godson. So I found this silver plush plane that someone had given me at some opening night for some reason, God knows why. And I just took it off it was hanging over my dresser. I just cut it off, took it, wrapped it, and took it home. And then when I got home, I realized that it had a name on it. Love, whoever it was that gave it to me. And I told my brother that I had brought this gift for Tommy. My brother's name is Tom. His son's name is Tommy. And he might even be watching right now. Probably never heard this. And I told him what happened, and he went, Jimmy, he can't read. And I was like, I know, but he said, no, he can't read. He's not going to know that. And just in case you have it, you may see Love Kathy. She was great. So She was a lovely girl that I dated, but just in case you have it. So that's a Christmas memory I have of something that just the whole energy of, and you really set me up for this, Thor. I'll be home for Christmas. You know, I was in New York City for many, many years. My home was Philadelphia. It wasn't that far away. There were moments when I couldn't get home for whatever reason, financial, whatever. I once got strep throat, and I was telling my aunt that I had strep throat and I was really not feeling well. 2.5 hours later, they're in my apartment packing me up to take me back to Philly because I had strep throat. That's where I come from. That's the family I come from. Someone recently this week told me that they thought I was one of the kindest people they knew. And I said, yeah. No, I didn't say that. I said, that is so sweet of you. I said, but you know what? I am who I am because of everything that has come up to this point. All of you make up who I am. All of everybody I've had in my life up to this point make up who I am. And I'd like to know that same thing for you at 26 years old. Everything that's come this way, but when I would look at you, I see what you're putting into the world, and I am so proud of that. And I hope we all can start to learn a little bit more about our lives and how who we are isn't really just ours to celebrate. Who we are is everyone who has touched us up to this point, and the choices we make and the people we choose to be touched by and to touch as we move forward. That's a great Christmas gift to have and to experience. Namaste. And so now, for our tradition, I invite my singers to come on up. And this is where you all get to be a part as well. So when I tell you, Swan, you could turn all the lights out and we'll just leave the light. You'll all stand and turn on your light, but not till I tell you, Craig. Not yet. Somebody turned their light on. Oh, someone had their light on. Okay. Go ahead and dim it a little bit, Swan. Why is this song such a traditional song sung everywhere? Anybody have an idea why? Because it's in the stillness. There's something about this song that moves over us like a balm that just makes us feel calm. It's even in the lyrics. So I invite you to not just hear the song, but feel the song. And you have to step downstage to get out of the lights of the... Yeah, keep going. And stay down there. Yeah. So I invite you to stand. And Sherry, if you could turn the lights out from the side. And Swan, you can bring all the lights down. And I know you at home may not see us as clearly. That's great. Just those big lights up above you, Sherry. Okay, now turn your light on. And then I'd just like you to look into your light for a second. Just look. What creates that light? And we may know it's the filaments and the batteries and the light bulb, but There's something beyond that, something within that spark of light. It's in what you're holding, but it's also in the very thing holding it.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin, mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace.
Take a deep breath, everyone. Make a Christmas wish. Whatever intention you have for these next couple of days. And make an intention for the rest of this year, how you choose to live it. And then blow out your candle and have a seat. And you can bring the lights back up, Swan. Stay. So at this point, we are going to pass the basket and say thank you for all you've given to our congregation, to this place, this beautiful spiritual sanctuary. And we have a little song for you to help you know how blessed you are.
When you're worried and you can't sleep, count your blessings instead of sheep, and you'll fall asleep, counting your blessings. And when your bankroll is getting small, think about the times when you had none at all,
Right?
and you'll fall asleep, counting your blessings. I think about a nursery and I picture curly heads.
Then one by one I count them as they slumber in their bed.
So if you're worried and you can't sleep, count your blessings instead of sheep, and you'll fall asleep, counting your blessings. Yes, you'll fall asleep, counting your blessings.
We have been singing that song for 20 years, more than 20 years, at the NoHo Arts Center for New Thought, turning into the Global 2 Center, and then shortly, soon to come, turning into, you'll find out, yes, after the first of the year. So I want to say thank you to everyone for coming tonight, for bringing your love and your kindness and your generosity to this center. This has been a very full year, don't you think? Oh, yeah. For this it's not our last service. Sunday will be our last service of the year. But there's something about this year that I think is really, we are ready. The whole idea was thrive in 2025. Do you remember that? Thrive in 2025. I believe we have thrived in so many ways, certainly in the richness of this philosophy and this teaching. I really believe that this year, more than any year so far, it has turned me upside down, pulled me inside out, asked a lot of me, and most importantly, shown me exactly what I needed to do to move forward. So I am knowing that for all of you as well. We have a final tradition of a song that we sing every year, although my husband seems to have left. Oh, he's in the restroom. Good timing. Kevin, you're good now? Come on up, guys. So Kevin has a little something to say about this particular song. You know, our entire philosophy really works based on one idea. What is that? Keep saying it, everybody. Belief. Belief. What you believe is what
you can achieve.
Okay. Yeah. What you believe, you achieve. Yes. What man can conceive and believe, he can achieve. Who wrote that? Ralph Waldo Emerson. Anyway, you have something to say before this.
I do?
Oh, don't you?
What did you want me to say?
Oh, nothing then. Okay.
No, I was just...
Well, wait. In my notes, it says, Kevin says... Hold on, I'll tell you what it's supposed to say. Kevin tells the story of believe.
Needless to say, you didn't tell me I was going to do this.
Do I ever tell anybody what?
It's just like,
no.
If any of his students think that I'm treated any differently than any of you, no. It's just like, Kevin's going to talk now. It's like, okay. So the story of Believe is from Polar Express, right? I hope you have, if you haven't ever seen the animated Christmas musical Polar Express, I encourage you to take a moment to do it. It was one of our wonderful family traditions to curl up with the kids in front of the fire and just enjoy this tradition for our own little family unit. It just became such a near and dear part of our Christmas traditions, and this song is definitely wrapped into it. So thanks for joining me on this. Merry Christmas, everyone. Children sleeping, snow is softly falling, dreams are calling, like bells in the distance. We were dreamers not so long ago, but one by one we all had to grow up. But when it seems the magic slipped away, you can find yourself again on Christmas Day. Believe in what your heart is saying. Hear the melody that's playing. There's no time to waste. There's so much to celebrate. Believe in what you feel inside. Give your dreams the wings to fly. You have everything you need if you just believe. Trains move swiftly to their journey's end. where we begin again, and ships go sailing far beyond the sea, trusting starlight to get where they need to be. And if it seems that you have lost your way, you can find yourself again on Christmas Day. Believe in what your heart is saying. Hear the melody that's playing. There's no time to waste. There's so much to celebrate. Believe in what you feel inside. Give your dreams the wings to fly. You have everything you need if you just believe. Oh, believe. Come on, believe. Oh, believe. 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 If you just believe.
Have a great Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.